Good afternoon, and welcome to the Gantt Head Business-Driven PMO webinar series. Today's webinar, Business-Driven PMO Dashboarding, Measure What Matters Most. My name is Mark Perry, Director of PMO Services for Gantt Head, and co-presenting with me today is Susan Go, the Project Portfolio Management Solutions Architect with Power Steering Software, a leading software-as-a-service provider of enterprise project and portfolio management solutions. Today, Susan and I are delighted to share with you a short presentation on effective project portfolio management dashboarding, which will be followed by a PPM thought leadership presentation, Measure What Matters Most, using the right metrics to measure PMO effectiveness. And after the presentations, we will have a short question and answer session. So as we go, please feel free to enter any questions that you may have. Before we get started, let me introduce our featured guest and PPM subject matter expert, Susan Go. Susan is a senior consultant for Power Steering Software, where she works closely with existing and prospective customers to deploy PPM solutions. Susan, as a subject matter expert, and Power Steering Software as a leading PPM provider, bring to us years of experience spanning portfolio optimization, application rationalization, and IT governance, with numerous customers of all shapes and sizes, as shown in this slide. Also, Susan has presented at many national events and conferences, and it is a pleasure to have her with us today. Susan, thank you for being our featured guest.
Thank you, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, let's get started. This cartoon sheds light on an all-too-familiar problem. In this cartoon, the executive says, "I don't like this report. I just want a simple dashboard that shows the status of important projects. Can you give that?" The PMO manager replies, "Sure. What status criteria do you want to see? And how do you want to determine if a project is important or not?" And hearing the exchange, one of the project managers in the PMO laughs out loud. Well, you get the idea. In the world of executive dashboarding, it is always easier to say what you don't like about a dashboard than it is to know and say exactly what you want. However, today, more and more organizations are discovering that unlike yesteryear's tabular-style reports, spreadsheets, and pivot tables, anything is possible, and you can report on your metrics, such as KPIs, in a number of streamlined and graphical ways, such as Visual CIO portal pie charts, bar charts, line graphs, and balloon charts, as shown below. But what do people want, and how do you give it to them? Recently, we did a qualitative study to learn more about executive dashboarding. We were seeking to answer such questions as, what should your PMO provide? What should your PMO avoid? How should your PMO deliver it? We surveyed 100 participants from 25 established PMOs with a focus on the following four perspectives: the executive perspective, the PMO manager perspective, functional management, and the PPM technical support team. We basically asked, what do you like? What do you dislike? How should it be done? And do you have any comments that you would like to share? First, the executive perspectives. As you can see, executives like dashboards that support decision-making and that are simple and contextual. They don't like too much data, and they prefer a frequency of dashboard that is monthly. In terms of feedback, the executives were quite consistent in their preference for intuitive dashboards. Decision support was viewed as quarterly PPM decisions with monthly issue management. Multiple simple dashboards were preferred over the one big bang style report. And the executives did not want to see a long list of projects, overly detailed status information. A consistent theme was that the executives did not want to have to relearn what the dashboard was all about every time they looked at it. In short, provide a context and support decision-making. A good example of this perspective, the executive perspective, is shown below. Susan, let me bring you in to comment how this portfolio view provides the kind of information that executives like to see.